How should we see the Russians?
Look, the Russians suffer from Islamic terrorism as well, whether it's attacks in their subways, their schools. The Beslan massacre killed over 300 kids. They suffer from it as badly as we do. So that is actually one area of common interest that the United States, Western civilization, and Russia should have with the Russians.
That seems an obvious point. Trump ran on that point. A lot of people thought it was common sense. Why the resistance to that among foreign policy professionals in D.C.?
It's amazing. When I grew up in the Cold War, the left loved the USSR.
Yes.
Never wanted to, never criticized it ever. And now that you have a more authoritarian but not a communist running Russia, they are the bad guys. It's amazing how that works.
Is it because it's Eastern Orthodox? Because it's an Orthodox country? Is it a religious question? I mean, what is that about?
They're not embracing the leftist worldview, I guess. I mean, this rush to judgment by the left, I guess, is kind of perfect for the Democratic Party, the party of lynch mobs and Jim Crow laws, rushing to judgment without much fact.
It's bewildering to me. So Afghanistan, the president apparently is considering sending more U.S. troops there. You spent a lot of time there and in that region, and you have an idea for what we should do with Afghanistan. What is it?
So we're spending as a country $42 billion there this year. There's 8,000 troops. 3/4 of them never actually leave the base. If you look back in history, the way the English operated in India for 250 years, they had an army that was largely run by companies and no English soldiers. So very cheap, very low cost, very simple, very adaptable. The president needs to appoint one person in charge in Afghanistan. We've been through 17 commanders in 15 years. That's not even counting ambassadors and all the other officials. So you put one person in charge and allow them to negotiate with the Afghans the rules of engagement. Because right now the rules of engagement are so tight that when you have soldiers in contact fighting for their lives, they have to talk to a lawyer 500 miles away sitting in air conditioning to drop a bomb. Huh. It's not a serious way to
So you would replace a military occupation with the American South Asia Company or something like that?
Something like that, sure. You already have a 300,000 person Afghan security force, but they fall down because they lack logistics, they lack the professional enabling functions, because we rushed into this into people that were largely illiterate and not capable of doing those functions, and now they're corrupted. And they fall short on fuel supply, on air support, on all these basic things that the home team should have in fighting against the Taliban.
So it sounds like, finally, you don't see any kind of conventional military solution where we just occupy it into submission.
Not at all. We've fought for the last 15 years with the 1st Infantry Division model. Now we should fight with a East India Company model and do it much cheaper. There's $1 trillion of value in the ground, mining, minerals, and another $1 trillion of oil and gas. And that's the U.S. Geological Survey estimate. But yet you don't have a mining law in Afghanistan. Even the whole approach of placing U.S. bases was all done to control land and territory, but not the arteries that actually make money. That's how the Taliban makes money now. Lapis, gold, marble, pistachios, and of course opium and hashish.
It might benefit America, though, so I know they'll be against it. Erik Prince, thank you. That was interesting. A bunch of Democrats want the